Hello everybody and welcome back to Creative Cosplay, where today you've all been waiting for it since that little bit in my last video. We are making a Miles Morales Spider-Man costume. Now this time the materials list is a lot different. So this time instead of some red and blue spandex fabric, you're going to be needing some black fabric, as you all would suspect. But I've noticed that spandex is about $20 a yard, which is crazy expensive and does not fit my budget at all. So an alternative to spandex is polyester. It's not quite as stretchy as spandex, but it's stretchy enough to make a nice little bodysuit, and it's only $8 a yard, so that's what I used here. Then I have my McCall's spandex bodysuit pattern. You all remember that from my last video. And then over here, I just have some tulip puffy paint. You all know what that is. Got red here, of course, for the webbing and all that. And then I've got an assortment of black metallic, silver metallic, and just the plain black. So those are all just for some details. I don't know which one I'm going to be actually using, so I guess I'm just going to be making it up as I go. And then I've got some mesh over here with some clear plastic there. Those are for the eyes, if you recall back to my last video. And then I have some Mod Podge. Now, an alternative to Mod Podge is Plasti-Dip, but this Mod Podge I use to coat my craft foam detailings that I make, so then they're hard enough to adhere to the spray paint that I got, which, speaking of that, this is Satin Poppy Red. It's a nice spray paint, and it matched the color of the puffy paint that I got. And then I think you all can see where I'm going with this. I got some yellow battery-powered LEDs. Anyone with an IQ over room temperature should know what I'm gonna do with this. And now, I could only find warm white, but you guys, I would recommend to get yellow, but warm white was all I found, and it was close enough to yellow. And then got some craft foam over here. Gonna be using it for all of the details. Now, you're gonna need more like 4 sheets of this for the little V shape he has, and then the eyes and the logo. And then a few other little details, but you won't actually need a ginormous roll. But I use a lot of craft foam because I make more than one costume per month, so I just got it in a huge roll. So anyways, with all those materials covered, let's get into the video. So you guys all know the drill. You don't need time lapses. You just lay out your pattern pieces onto the black fabric, cut it out, and sew them all together, and you should end up with something that looks like this. Now, an alternative to making the bodysuit yourself is just buying a morph suit online. You can find them for about $15 to $30, depending on where you can buy them at Party City or just online. Really, anywhere you can find morph suits, you'll find them in that price range. But I chose to make mine myself for 2 reasons. One, so I could say it's mine a little bit more. Not that I just bought a morph suit online and added details to it. That's just lame. And the second reason, which is the main reason, is so that I could choose where I added the zipper. Now, back here, yes, I did add in the back zipper, but it only goes down so far. Now, I did this in the same thing that I'm doing now in my last video, so if you remember that, you can just skip forward a little bit and then, because you know what I did. But morph suits come with a back zipper, which is perfectly fine. But to me, back zippers, one, you'll have to cut your logo in half. And on morph suits, it's super duper noticeable because they don't even use invisible back zippers. They're very visible zippers. So I wanted to add the small little back zipper here so that I could get my head through the neck hole. But just because I can't fit through that tiny little zipper that I did right there. So where I used to get through the majority of the costume is this. I added in a zipper into the side of the suit, And then, yes, I know, the zipper is brown, but it's the only color that I could get in a very large roll that was invisible zipper. But then look, you zip it up, you don't even notice that it's a brown zipper, so who cares? But anyways, what you're going to be doing next for the detailing is the first step is making that little V sort of shape thing that he has. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's like that little V shape thing that he has. It's red, matches the color of his webbing, and sort of separates where the webbing is from the rest of the costume. Sort of like how on the classic Peter Parker Spider-Man, he has that red piece the webbing is only on the red piece, not on the blue. So, since his is one color, he needs something to divide where the webbing is and isn't. So, that's sort of what the little red V-shape thing is. You all know what I'm talking about. But, so, yeah, I guess that's really the first step, so let's go ahead and do that. Instead of just cutting it out onto the foam directly and just hoping for the best, and if I mess it up, that would make me lose a lot of foam, and I didn't want to do that. So what I did is I traced it out onto some brown paper that I had laying around. So then I used that pattern, cut it out onto craft foam, coated it with the 2 coats of Mod Podge like I explained earlier, and then spray painted it, so while I'm waiting for that to dry, might as well do something. So next, I'm making the gloves, sorry about that. I made this. It's this little black tube sort of thing with the thumb exposed, because instead of just making a glove like I did last time, just making some sort of glove, I'm going to make this. It's really, really easy to use. And then I got this. This is my old red Spider-Man glove that I used from my last costume, the Spider-Man Classic suit. Then what I did to modify it is just on the fingers, not on the majority of the glove, but just on the fingers, I did a little dotted texture with my red puffy paint. Got a few tears there, but no one really notices them. So I did a texturing with the puffy paint so that I could, it would match the rest of the puffy paint on the suit better. And then I also added the webbing on the fingers, since if you recall back to my last video, I didn't have that then. And then my plan is basically to put this on, and then I can glue this down, and then cut out the excess of the glove, which, lucky for me, I've already done on this glove. So this is what it looks like. So I cut out the excess from the inside of the glove, so there's no floppy excess inside of it. It's all one piece. So then, let me just weasel my fingers into it, pull it up tight, and then got some beautiful, beautiful red-fingered spooty gloves. Miles Morales really just has that V-shape and the webbing for details. So what I did is I spiced it up a little bit, adding stuff like this little waistband and some other details, just sort of making it up on my own. You want to know what happens when I mess up putting in the zipper and gluing on the logo a million different times? This. So here I am in the completed costume. The LEDs didn't really turn out too well, but that's okay. And then, as you can see, the mask looks pretty good. As I showed you earlier, It's got a little dotted texture that I added there just to look kind of nice, and it sort of matched the fingers that I did. And then the lenses were the same method that I did for the V-shaped thing and the logo, which was just cutting them out of craft foam and then coating them with the Mod Podge and then spray painting them. So then, as you can see, it tucks under the neck there. So then you can take it off there. Not too much bunching up in the neck, but then the rest of the stuff, everything else in the V shape has a dotted texture as well. So I thought that that looked pretty nice. Then I've got my little logo here, which looks pretty good. And then I used the Cricut cutting machine again to cut out the logo and make it look pretty nice. Now the V shape, you all saw how I did that, making out the pattern, cutting it out of the craft foam, Mod Podging it, then spray painting it. Now I did another version of the back logo. I didn't really like the first one, and in order to have enough room to slide my head through the neck hole, I had to put in the back zipper a little bit deeper, so I did end up having to cut the logo in half. So a good recommendation is to just skip the side zipper and just do a full back zipper. But then, as I said earlier, I thought that Miles's upper body details weren't really enough, so I added in this little waistband thing going around to the back, and then some little pieces of duct tape there just for some silver details. Well, actually these were just to cover up the hot glue stain that was left from trying to attach the LED battery pack. But then anyways, I've got the little top things. I guess they're supposed to be for like back fists or stuff like that. Sort of taken off of the PS5 gameplay version, but I still liked how these turned out. And then I've got these little vertical strips there. I'm just really making up as I go, doing some random details. Now, I did order some black shoes that were pretty thin looking to go over this, the sock part. So then I would just add some details to the black shoe, and then that would just look pretty good. But then I just decided didn't come yet, so don't have those yet. But then I have this little metallic silver line there, lining up the boot seam. I thought it looked kind of nice, sort of to express the boot part. So yeah, I guess that's basically it for the costume. I really hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe. I know every single YouTuber ever says this, but I really need your guys' support, and tell me that you like the videos, and you can also tell me what costumes you want me to make next. So as always, I'll see you in the next video.